2 decades, and how the Troubles affected the sport in Níos Mona Cluiche.
Cluiche ceannis ola. Tá 32,000 duine in é taistil as gach cearn den chuige le brathnú ar gá ireann ama téiriche idir chundé I mar a réime. Cé a spragan an spirid Jonach faoi lé a amsítar I measc báil na cluiche Gaeilge. Is son na muintere agus an phobal. Son an chlub agus an condé a dhéanann siad é. Dá bhrí sin, is álaí a tháinig na cluiche Gaeilge sláán as na blianta coracha I lig I stair na hÉireann, agus ní amháin sin, ach tháinig siad faoi bhlá leis. Ach, in ainneoin ng radam a lig sna blianta tosaí, ba chosúil cuaige ola le cuaige a bhí ar an imil go fáil. Nuair a thug fearann an dúin leo trasna na teorann corn sam bhagéir den chiad uair sa bhliain 1960, bhí an chuma ar an scéal gur ag teacht an is a bhí cumann luachlas Gael I gcuaige ola. Ach, d'aineoin na luachara a lig a rinneú le trí bhua an dúin sna blianta sin, le hacht na 7 agus na 8 bhí ré uair ag toiseacht, nuair ba bhog críomh hinseach a tugadh a bhála go cuaige ola.
Ó na 1970 GRA, bhí scéal cumann luachlas Gael an ultabh gan a bhacasáil le fáil. Fitte fuaite sa scéal sin, tá mar a ddíirí le grábháil na hagraíochta cruachtain am léanta od sin a Ullins. Ddíirí leo, agus is leo a ddíirí theacht amach as na blianta sin níos leideire na a riad.
Armagh collected, Jarlath Burns.
Thionn na héachtaí is mó a buinte amach agam I mo thuaim ná nuair a bhí siad a privilege agam a bheith mar chaptain ar ireann na chundé ardmhaithe nuair a bhainmid críomhola I 1999. Bheadh cibhne ag cidmhór daoine orm mar gheall ar an 7 bómate sin. Ach dúsa, is iad na cibhní is binne ná léhananta ma óige agus mé ag cúlatí le ma dhearthracha ag cur a gceall gur a barcan croci a bhíimiid, nó am caite ag ma chlub béalathe an airigid. Mar imróir, is sonan na chlub is de chláán, de chórsanna agus de chairde. Sin iad na daoine lenar as tú a níos, agus na daoine ónar ólam tú conas le líthráid a bhuailú. Ó bblianta tosaí chumann luachlas Gael, is chríocha na paraiste a bhí an taanad bailú sin an club boníthe. Ó hinna lé, tá scéal na glíthe Gaeilge agus scéal an phobal, fitte fuaite ina chéile. Is sonan agus gur a bé an rud cíarna de chlíthe Gaeilge an brod as an áit ghuachais agus na clíthe héin.
A seachar gur bon an teorannacha an pharoiste agus teorannacha an club. Is féidir ar nach tosa a réíonn the club ach the club a réíonn tosa. Is cum a céthú mór agus a éiríonn imreoir ar bí. In Neara Beire, is ag an club an cumann boglan ar thosaí sé a ilí sé, agus a íochaí an a bhuair sé as, tríd bheith a gobar leis an chéad glúin eile.
Is fear é Joe Kernan a higgin céthú fada agus is féidir dul tíbhastí de cumann luachlas Gael. Jimar sé de ardmhaithe ag glíthe ceannis na hÉireann in 1977, agus dírí leis críomh na hÉireann a bhaint mar bhainisteoir in 2002.
Armagh are the All-Ireland champions!
Joe Kernan, a man who reached the highest levels, and here you are back, chairman of your club. How important is that connection to the grassroots to you here in Crossmaglen?
Well, the club is the most important thing. From I was 15, 16 years of age, I was about the club. And then after I quit playing, it was management.
We can't help you when he's on the field. But at the end of the day, unless you win, it's no good. We all go back to our club tonight. And we're going to have to take the bit of slagging on you, because every one of us in that club, as soon as we get off that bus, face it.
Now I'm chairman. I'm in my third year now. I don't know how long it'll last, but I enjoy working with the club. I enjoy to see the club developing. Everything in the community revolves around the club. The excitement, the pain, the whole lot. And I have 5 children myself, and I know the benefits and what the club has offered my children.
It must be a very proud moment in your sons play and watching the sons of your friends play and representing them across Crossmaglen.
Yeah, it's not easy some days, by the way. No, but it is fantastic. And like every parent, you feel very proud of your children when they wear a club jersey and then are successful. And recently, Slaughtneil is a prime example, a small community that gather together and then are successful. And we're the same to a certain extent.
Slaughtneil. Cantar 300 Jarlath ag bun na spéiríní, agus eisimlar den chéad sky de chóras na globbanna in Éireann. Tógu an club seo ó bhain, glúin inne glúinne, go dtí go raibh sé ar cheann de na clubbanna is iomráití in Éireann.
Is cantar into Iargulta é Slaughtneil. Níl mór eile ar fáil na Fíorne a gohhain an chuman de chascéal seo. Is tá an club an seo mar crílar an phobal.
Das tú Níos le daoine in san club. Has agad futhú, has agad an cúlra, has agad chudeile den chláán, agus tá céidrah Master Dóin agad leis na daoine sin. Bhí ar gud tuismóir an mhuilean in san gardín, nuair thosaí muid amach. Iad san na daoine a spráig muid.
Yeah, this ear imroor, Mammy Sugganya, agus ta daddy mar bhanisir an fearn sinseir, cumógiachta.
Nuair bhíon tréineoir siúil is féidir le faoi sé a bheith ar farc amháin fearn sinseir cumógiachta ar farc eile agus imeoirí peile níonar ag tréineal ar farc eile an sin. Má hén tú ggóil tú buinte leis an mórphobal hartúirt.
Jerry Lay is chuman Jonach é, agus tá gataine an sin ar waithe láthíon agus an céad bliain eile tá ag teachta níos. Tá muid ag brach go mór ar na daoine atá na chunaí san áit seo a bheith páirte sa club. Tá sin iad táhacht agus sílam gur chuirn sin leis an féinolacht hart fanáit.
Le breis agus 125 bliain, ba frinsibal bonúsach a bhí ag grí na glíthe Gaeilge, comórtas atá an idir pobal, agus é éineolacht ar lé ag gach pobal acu atá múnlaithe ag a discint chéan don áidchúigis. I gcuig go ola tá an meón sin in iad dul níos fuide ná na clíthe chéan. Seasan na clíthe Gaeilge don níos móna an sport is saol na máil sin atá ina gcónís na sé chumdé. An áitse bhfuil siad mar chobar as a darangéan mórán da cuid báil a bhéiniúlacht éireannach.
Tá meon cuman lu glascéal ó thuaí múnlaithe ag blianta fada de Cluiche éagsúla. Agus cé go bhfuil si inné golanabíocht le breis a scór blian, má híonn tú ag gcónaí go bhfuil si ar cinneal súil amháin ar an anseo atá thar. Is Jackar sin a hiagmhail ag muinsear ó Dheas, agus is Jackar dói fásta golan lech leis an cóthex políteachta ina bhfuil muinsear an tuiscirt ag obair.
Ribh críoch geailt na tíre sa bbliain 1921, bhí na clíthe Gaeilge ar na siombal chultúrtha ab éifeachtaí trí na deocúla náisiúnaithe a bhéanlúlacht féin a léirú don síl. Ar chuid mhórbálaí, tá an ról sin go fáil a imirt I dúsceart na hÉireann, mar a soláthraíonn na clíthe féinneolacht éireannach I dólamh. Corú béim eile ar luach ról na clíthe Gaeilge maidir le ceiliúrú cultúr na hÉireann, nuair a thuaigh cuirsaí políteachta in Olcas a tuisceart ó na 1970 a raghaidh.
Bhí sé ionta tábhachtach ar leibhealaithe difriúla a léirú cé tú haon, gur gaolthú, gur éireannach chu. Dóla me sin mo chuid ceáil ag clubthach bhaile spragu me le Gaelic ólam an san áid céarna. Níl áras bí ormsa go réirí le cumandú le scéal daoine óga a bhealú balla an chultar, balla na teanga, balla a ceáil agus agus a habé an rééis sin ní fis a go mna trobla dé fiú níos massa na mar a bhí agus bhí sé dul go leor.
The GAA is undoubtedly kind of hamstrung by the years of conflict. You've got a 30-year-long kind of war on the streets, if you like. That is not a normal environment for sport to take place.
Ba glachan tú leis go bhfuil club bí mar chuid lárnach de phobal. Tá rudidir bí a tuite me más a phobal a gula bhéim an club. Sta seachtaidí thugad gul hart corneal le bí agus bheith an taramon na bheith bac éigen an bóthar. Chuir sin iste chuirsaí tréanala agus na pelladarí gulthaigh Cluiche gan a bheith máil. Chuir sé ista ghaoine éirithe golón fiú, mar na rú sé a géirí an troblaid a bheith acu. Is cineal de verihailt a bhí an go réirí le cumandú le scéal rudidir bí a agrú an éiríre.
Le choiríal heíalta chráideanna an tuisceart, ba iad na clubanna cumandú le scéal crí lár na bobal náisiúnach. Agus de bhrí sin, de réir a chéile bégan na forigneamh híon a athrú le go méadh siad ag teach leis na riachtanas nua. Ó cheomraí festas a bhain, is amhlaí a bhí clubanna sóisialta agus ceol áras an, ionad lé agus clubanna óige.
Do náisiúnithe áid hailsa a bhí sa clubthach. In ró an pobal abal de hach le céile gan contúirt. Charman a bhí sa club. Agus de réir mar a ddíirí na tribladí níos féachmhara, is amhlaí a bhéadaí an táhacht a bhain leis an club, agus mar a bhí an pobal ag brathir.
Is dóilm híon nar a bhthaíonn pobal bí faoi bhagart go míon cléanúón coolú siar, fanat san áit ina mthaíonn tú sábailte. Agus is dóilm go ró clubanna a dóid sin, agus level is dóilm go nearna sin na pobal áitiúla rud beag níos leidre, go rú siad ag brathir a chéile níos mó, agus as sin tháinig leidreacht.
Back and forward. Good. Well done. Jog on the spot. That's it.
Is sé clán éireann sa Lorgan Condaíard watha, a leag síos dearú de héchaí clubanna in éireann. An seo sna nídé céigeadí, thóg an pobal é héan an club óige. Bhí sé an chéad ais dá leithéid sa tír. Sna 7 agus 8 bhí ról a rís ag an club óige sin, ó is sé a thug an múnla de clubanna Cumann Lú Scéal le go méadh siad iirineach den na dúchlein nua ag geantar náisiúnacha. Inniu is sé an club sin crí lár an phobal i gcónaí.
Clonard Summer Camp is on this week. We've had 162 children attend, loads of activities going on, and everyone seems very happy.
Clonard Youth Club was a trailblazer. In 1954, it was basically unheard of within the GAA to have anything more than a field to play your Gaelic football in. And this suddenly became the centrepiece of our club and to a large degree our community. During my time growing up in the early 70s, I suppose you felt part of a siege at times. Basically, the green was a battlefield between British soldiers and residents from the wider catchment area. And I often would have made my way up from North Circular Road while these troubles were going on. Such was the determination to get what was a safe haven. It seems a bit of an anomaly, really, to walk through riots to get to a safe haven, but such was the attraction of the youth club at the time. Basketball, table tennis, boxing, they were all there, and back in those days, that was quite a broad range of activities.
During our teenage years, there would have been discos on. I remember even rollerblading discos as well, which was always funny. The boys always stand in the corner and the girls whizzing past them. So, I mean, it was just a place to hang out with your friends and have fun and complete safe haven.
From all the other current day evils and vices that there are out there, this club still remains a sanctuary for the people of Kilwilkie, I think.
Tá Tá an clubhach agus an pobl hart there, fitche fuite ina chéile. Is siombail iad na furigneamh seo a títar ar fud na tíre don spirit pobl agus an obair Jónach atá tíobh den dul chun cin atá deanta ag na clíthe Gaeilge. Ceann rudí is mó a bheallan daoine ná gur charman iad na clubthaithe don na pobl hart orthu. Is cuma faoi chúlú sóisialta nó tuairimí politiúla. Cé gur bé an doras oscailte sin agus an bháilríocht leathan a chothí an eagraíocht. I gcóirchas, is é sin an rud a bhagair an eagraíocht a leagan.
Is minic a deartar nach ruánach trí mhór imach náisiúnta a bhagair an eagraíocht a sciilsiú ón tíbhastí. Ba é an scilt farnell ins na 8-9 an chéad ceann, ba é cogadh na garad ins na 9-20 an dara ceann, agus inis gan mór an achar, bhí an 3 ceann, stailc ocrais na bliana 9-8 ag bagairt.
The hunger strikes are that tipping point whereby what is essentially a Republican protest in the prisons converts itself into popular support for that cause that stretches way beyond Sinn Féin directly. It embraces a whole kind of broad nationalist community. And I think the GA comes under huge pressure.
Bhí Rainshaw clubbanna a hui mórthúilta agus brat da go chéan taispoint. Bhí parcanna a úsáid de agóidí agus chur a lán clubbanna fógrís na nuachtainn le takeíocht a thuirt na fur stailc ocrais bhun las a daoine ach nóia bhí táthán ag tarlú an am céar na fásta so bhí daoine eile ag rá tá seo fitte fuite le cuasaí politiúla.
Crothaigh sé deachreachtaí ag glubbanna idir drama bhain a bhí ag géirí go léirithú cumann luachlas Gael níos mó takeíochta do rudaí a bhí ar siúil agus drám eile a bhí ag géirí fanat cúneodrach agus is féidir. A bhí sé onanta dul fanat neodrach san am sin. Bhí dú agus buan onanta leathan, bhí lia onanta tannaí san am.
It's testimony to the GAA that despite the pressures it comes under, and they're huge, that it does manage to hold the organisation together. And I think the GAA, by kind of walking that tightrope, by giving the space for nationalist responses to hunger strikes, but also ensuring its core business, the games, continue, it managed to get through the sort of summer of 1981 intact.
Bhí go leor daoine a aitimh gur éirí leis an cumann theacht slán as an creibhse seo. Ceannas go raibh fearr ón tuaisceart, Paddy McFlynn ina uachtarán le linn an ama. Fearr a raibh an-chur amach aige ar an dóigh le dulling lech le ceistena acrannacha politiíochta an tuaisceart.
There's one club in particular where at their annual meeting it was proposed by 3 sympathisers that they march and take an active part in the H-Block situation. And then, of course, this was meaning that the club was going to split.
What did you do? How did you settle it?
Well, they finished up by, from a humanitarian point of view, a compromise of giving a subscription to the H-Block funds, but that there was absolutely to be no active participation by the club in the H-Block activities.
Dírí le cumann luachlas Gael, faoi ceannasaíocht a uachtarán, an eagraíocht de stúrú go cumasach ar bhain náisiúnta agus cuaige ar mhóthar neamhpolitiúil, go ceann tamil eile cibé. Ach, cé gur cuidí an seaasú leis an eagraíocht gan titime sa chéile, tíobh muí de cumann luachlas Gael, thonachas do riine gur ráiteas politiúil a bhí ann. Ráiteas a dtimróú tionachar ionta mór in grá bhfuil cumann luachlas Gael.
Is saolaí a bhrú an stail cochras an cumanas teach is saol na polítíochta in iad na holla. Agus de réir mar a bhí seaasú neu fallatiúil na hagraíochta faoi bhagart le linn na driblaidí, ba chinúnach agus dóthachanta go mú an saol polítíochta ag gol a bhaim ar na clubanna. Tíbhas tíd an phobal aontaachta mar sin de, bhí an dearcú an gur agraíocht phoblachtach ar fad a bhí a cuman nuachlas Gael, agus go raibh do cheasú politiúil a léirú agat agus tú a do bháildaí. I rins cásanna ba dhé an tarú a dáas as an dearcú sin go nearnú ionsaithe ar aiseanna cuman nuachlas Gael, agus níos measanna sin go nearnú ionsaithe ar bhil na hagraíochta.
Cases like the killing of Aidan McAnespy from the Ahaloo Club by the British Army, or Sean Brown of Balaghy, killed by loyalist paramilitaries, are problematic for the GAA because you have a member of your association going around there lawful and peaceful business. McAnespy is crossing a checkpoint to go to a game. Sean Brown is locking off his club, and yet both these men are killed. And I think for the association that creates real difficulties because the very act of being a GAA member can get you killed. There's clearly anger at the time, but by and large I think what the association does is choose to honour those members as GAA men. So those kind of killings across the years, and there are many, do actually problematise the GAA's kind of apolitical stance because somebody else is telling you you're not apolitical.
Sna 7 agus 8 buinniú cór cosise a rís is a rís as na cluiche Gaeilge in Ulla. Mar sin ar fearc na himmartha tháinig bach insíne ar chuid imróí. Ach, mar a léiríonn an stair dúin, ní gá ach an drám ceart imróí faoi bhainaisteocht an duine cheart le smaoinse úra an dígras nua a chóirteasteach. Nuair a scaptar na smaoinse úra sin, scaptar iad ina loscú sléibhe.
The history of Fermanagh at inter-county senior level isn't great. They've never won an Ulster title. That can work on players' minds. I said to my players, wouldn't it be great for you to be the first Fermanagh team to win an Ulster title? Just imagine the glory and the immortality that you achieve if you won the first Ulster title for the county. It is not unreasonable for Fermanagh, like any of the other Ulster counties, to seriously target winning the provincial championship. And that target and that challenge to break the mould, that is what we're working towards. We can just get people to improve by 3% when you're shooting, or 10%. Think of the difference that'll make. There's margins, there's very, very small, tight margins, and that's what we're looking to get. I would just like to think that we are not drifting into this game. If anyone is thinking along those lines, that can be a serious weakness in our build-up to this game. In 1991, it was 23 years since any Ulster team had won in All-Ireland, and the last team to do it had been Down 3 times in the 60s. And in 1991, Down had gone 10 years without an Ulster championship, which at that time was a real drought. So I was taking over a group of players who had failed, hadn't realised their potential, and hadn't really produced their true worth when it came to big days in the championship. Given the fact that Down were the first team in the north of Ireland to win the All-Ireland and the legacy of the 1960s, that left a very, very deep imprint of confidence. And in Down, self-belief tends to come quite easily.
Leis an tuiscint nua acu don bhisneach a sppraig McGrath go toban bhí an chuma ag teacht ar iarrainn an dúin sa bhliain 1991 go raibh an mianach iontú mar a bhí trá.
I would like to thank Pete McGrath and his directors from the bottom of my heart.
Bhí an mianach sin le feiceáil a rís nuair a rinn siad slad hírí sa cluiche le cheannis, agus chinsi siad a náid ag glíthe ceannis na hÉireann den chéadúil ó bhí 1968 an. Is somí duine a dúirt nach raibh seansar bith ag Fireann McGrath in iad na mí. Fireann a bhí de réir cosúlachtaí dó cháirithe. Ach, níor chuir sin as don na mílte duine a meallach a dhéanú síos go Parc an Crocaí. Agus, gan an dú agus dearg le feiceil ó bhí na 1960 an, níor bhada gur a bhíad bratacha an dún a bhí ar fallún go ceannasach as ceann ardain Parc an Crocaí arís.
Ag tosú na bbliain sin, ní raibh éon súil ag aine, mission na másc. Go mé an dún ábalta craobh na holú a winch, seachas craobh na hÉireann a winch. Ní raibh éon súil ag aine. Hannig Paddy O'Rourke suas agus bhan me sé corn sam go guir agus chuir sé áthas mór orm an corn a bhrunú air.
I níiad tréimh se de scór bliain bhí corn sam bhagír ar a bhealach ó thuaí arís. Hannig na daoine amach na slúite ar an nuair. Is somí duine a dúirt nach raibh seans de leiad ag an dún, ach níor hep an misneach riú ar Feet McGrath.
They said that Meath were a team that couldn't be beaten. We were the team that beat the team that couldn't be beaten.
Ganna gabblion caite ar an stúr ag mar bhaine stúr an dún, bhí cluiche ceannis na hÉireann buinte ag Feet McGrath. Bhí an ireann seige inné corn sam a gcuir a thuirt thar an teoran don chéadúir le 3 bliain is fiche. Bhí an barna réarumpu agus ní raibh na foirní ultamh eile ar tí an teilg ar fad a agail ag muinsear an dún. Anton captain de ireann de gúnaáil a grothí críomh pelle na hÉireann in 1990 a dó. Ceir a bheith an inspiráid a fuairsibh ón dún a rinne bliain amháin roimh.
Gan dát sprág an dún Virginia leis an rach a bhí acu a 1990 agus ceanse ag siad an anspráid agus an meisneach agus an muinn dún a 1990.
Well, sa cluiche ceannis ba dhéad baile clí a réana go tinteachta go heiles go thomlan. Cariad na cibhní atá agat fan lá éhéan?
Well, an céaddal sílam gur thug a clia más faoin a lúc. Dún Jimma muid go háan bhain lá sin níor aglainn bhí muinn agan chrómaid a náí de búchaint.
James McCrew gives it to Bonner. Is this the insurance point? He's trying to get on the left foot, sure he does. Kicks it high, kicks it over, and the canal end goes away.
Agus nuair a séadú an adóg dhéirí den clíthe agus hiagú an am sin gur tosa an chéad duine ó gúnaáil a galsúas ceimena ardaní ógáin leis an corn stairil sin a thógáil. Cariad na smuintí a chuir sé sin?
Well, you know, gan dát bhí sin an nómáid a fear am híal agus rud de fanílam go deá. Lán de luchar, broad, mortas, you know, broad as my club here and out, broad as my conde, broad as an atch hanig me, you know, atch bug coolta, glan the gesha, because broad faster we an kedar reef hog samaguire. Tas sogum nach jens free mesha aga ni far am heel, agus fanny and last yum go jaw.
Sa bhliain 1993, bhí daoine a chur an nuaile a gluthaí Gaeilge ar fud an chuige a rís, den chéadúir le blianta fada. Bhí chuige ola in is le brí le scór bliain, gan le feiceil a bhogna a mhór ar an ardan náisiúnta. Ach inis, bhí athbheochan ag tarlú sa chuige. Beidir gur bon an bua a bhain agus an tau jarrig, ach cé a héanad nach patrún a bhí an, nuair a bhain chuige ola gá bhua in ní chéile. Bhí an bailach réitithe agus bhí ard na tíre ó thuaí le feiceil, céan ireann chumna eile a hocu chun tosaí. Agus cuirí na hÉireann chun na rúnagáil treascartha acu a glíthe ceannis ola, ba é deire an chéad chumda eile leis an rud nach bhéad bhí a chailú a dhéanú. 5 bliana is trotha in iad dói bheithe glíthe ceannis na hÉireann, rith fireann gire amach de ruachlú leis sin a dhéanú.
Still Damien Chasty. Runs into Cahallan. Looks for support, doesn't really need it. In comes Downey! Seamus Downey followed that ball in. Johnny McGurk being egged on by the crowd. McGurk fires it in. McGurk fires it over.
Nuair scoral Johnny McGurk and Coolín na Bua, bhí na Jory lum. Agus dúirt Buckas balla Claire McCool, what are you crying for? Sure you won. It's níhacha. Agus siad am nar ag daoine bidger. Go dé bhí a gceistin seo mar ní péal a bhain a bhí an.
Sna trí bhliana ina Romisha mar úachtar ar cumann luachlas gael bhronn mé cornsnab McGuire ar 3 condaithe ó cúige féin. Chuir sé bród orm, chuir sé áchas orm, agus an sin tháinig an dún arás an bhliain ina dhé sin agus bhain siad arís.
Sna ceithre bliana ó 1991 go dtí 1994, bhí críomh na hÉireann buaite ag 3 chumda oltacha. Mar felladóir, bhí me itse le héad. Seo foirne ar ó cur amach maith agam orthú. Ar immer mé ina ginne, agus ar éirí lom an bua a ail orthú fiú. Agus bhí kids den glóir sin díthorm. Ach, mar bháil den lucht takeíochta, agus mar oltach, is mór an bród a bhí orm, na blianta ud.
Sin cibhnú eile atá agam fanán sin, na gur híl mé ar bhealú éagsala gur ó barna ag líonú, agus gur ó aimseir an anró ag teacht chun críocha i ndearna dála.
Good evening. A stable government is at last within sight in Northern Ireland after another day of major developments.
Sna 1990, bhí ré uair inne táiseacht is saol polítíochta agus sóisialta an tuiscirt. Chrúthaí an tíochain ar chráideanna ó thuaí sochaí níos oscailte a bhí de réir a chéile ag bailú neart I dro athhuinseoiris agus cimsíochta.
Bhí teoranach an nua síl leaga sí sa tuiscirt. Mar an fróise síochána, cúaonn tú inne an chéasta agus bunú cheanól an tuiscirt. Agus, leis sin, mar a hála san ama a caite, dathróú cumann luachlas gael le gol an iruinst an saol nua fásta.
The GAA has very clear post-conflict political window dressing to do, which are done for their own purposes. They're done to do with money, they're to do with image, but it's also about sending out a message to the Unionist Loyalist community that these kind of what they may perceive as these historically regressive pieces of the GAA rulebook are being shed, that the GAA is taking part in the new community view of what Northern Ireland might be.
Bhí rial fiche héan a chur cosc ar ifigí pés agus bhail de arm na bratainine clíthe Gaelacha a imirt ar cheanna na chéad rialacha a thug an agríocht faoi leasú. Sa bliain neamhhéile sa héan ag cruinniú cógála, chin cumann luachlas Gael ar an rial sin a rascar.
Rule 21 and its abolition shouldn't be seen in a historic context, it should be kind of seen in an evolutionary context. What you're seeing post-1998, the Patton Report and the eventual kind of evolution of the PSNI, is the post-conflict process which asks the nationalist community to buy into civil policing. And they're only going to do that when the RUC has been disbanded and the PSNI has proved itself, as it were, worthy. It's about the GAA and its membership almost making a statement on post-conflict reforms.
Bhí mé héan ar ard cóirle fanna mar athriú rial faoithe sa héan. Is maithis ceann an díspóracht agus an drogal a bhí ar winter an tuisceart é athrú. Ach bhí is a gach duine go gaiithfí rial fiche sa héana ahrú le taispeans go raibh Cumann Lúthchleas Gael daoiríoch faoin phrobhse síochána. Hangathas cóireachtaach. Bhí cead ag muintir an tuaisceart bótáil in iad den rial fiche sa héan fad is go rathad sé fríd. Agriú cógáil special tá Cumann Lúthchleas Gael, rinneú an bart agus grisú rial fiche sa héan.
Agus sean rialacha agor faoi ascrúdú an goling lech le hathrutha palatiúla. Bhí leis rialacha úra a dúirteteach a dathróthú na clíthe Gaeilge le go méadh siad an iruhaint don téachí nua. Agus le ceannas foirne oltacha i bell na bhar, is seo a bunaíú Cumann Fell na Man i gcuige ola sa bhliain 1992 a bhall na mrá ina slúite chun na parca fasta. Tá na heagraíochtaí i mbun bhfuil úra a bhallú fasta ó chúilrí nach bhfuil aon nasc tradiisiúnta acu le clíthe Gaeilge, trí scéimeanna ollscoile agus cláracha fórreachtainna.
My name is Mansoura and I am from Iran. I have been living in Belfast for 6 years. The first time I started my study at university, Queen's University, Belfast, I opened my email and I saw the advertisement to play Gaelic football for international students, and I thought that, okay, it's some kind of football, it's okay. There is a Queen's University team, and every Monday and every Thursday we went for the training. I was the oldest one in the middle of the young people, and I found them so nice to me. From the beginning, they encouraged me. I met many new friends, and to be honest, I really, really enjoyed Gaelic football.
Excellent, Sarah. Well done.
I always have the scarf. Wearing a scarf is so important. It's identity for me as well. A few weeks ago, we had a match, and in the last moment, one of the girls passed the ball to me, and I made a score. And it was the best time that I have had in my life until now. For me, now Gaelic football is some kind of identity. Gaelic football is the part of my life.
Níor bhada go mú na mór áthruithe a bhí ag tarlú don Cumann hiúlón farc pella le tionachar a imirt uirne I mbun imirthe. Bhí tréimhse athbheochana ag tarlú san eagraíocht bhain náisiúnta I mblianta tosaí an chéad seo, agus an Gaeilge inéarann faoi bhla, parc an crocaí a hatógail, agus leagan amach úr a dúirteteach na clíthe ceannis, bhí athrú ollmhór ag teacht clíthe Gaeilge. Agus iad a géirí bheith mar glúchuid den athbheochán nua tíomhastí de Cumann Lúthchleas Gael, agus margheall an mharú úr a bhí ag tarlú mar chuid den phróise síochána. Bhí peladóirí ardmhaithe ag bailú neart le blianta boga anuas I níoddói bheith ag glíthe leath ceannis na hÉireann sa bhliain 1999 agus 2000. Hui an tír felladóir Joe Kiernan I mbun banisteachta sa bhliain 2000 is a héan, agus bí an chéad rud a rinn sé na béim a leagan aontacht foirne.
The first and the most important thing that every player that comes into any squad, let it be a club or a county, they should unify and want to be one. If that isn't there in their own head, you do have a problem. So you have 30 men in a room, they're all totally different people. Some are your leaders, some are quiet, some need a kick in the backside, and some people need an arm around them. And it's assessing those individual players. And then, of course, if you can go out and start to win a few matches, the thing moves on then.
Ba é torú corthaige chorasach cearnan I dtaca le clíthe a winch, agus an dearcú díchasach daoiríre module tréanail a bhí ag léar mór den na himróirí, ná nach raibh aon ireann eile in chortha leo I gríomh na bliana 2002. Thion de bhuaich faoinse cearnan, bhí clíthe tean leath cheannis I níodan a clia.
6 goals and 23 points. He kicks it. He kicks it.
The semi-final, when unfortunately Pure Ray Cosgrove missed the point and Geezer actually finished up with the ball in his hands, which was more than appropriate. the fact that we got to the final after going so close for 3 years previous, you know, that certainly was something that you never forget.
Gan ach ceithre bliana inne chuaonn inne an chiasta. Bhí ardmhaithe páirteach ag glutha ceannas na hÉireann den darna thuair riú, an éirí seo in éideann chéirí. Bhí an chuma orthú go raibh siad ag cailliú fuinneamh, agus bhí céirí inis ag chur crua orthú le gach deis a cailliú acu. Agus é an iireann sin ardmhaithe a chail an cluiche ceannas 1977, agus an tuailach sin le humpar aige ó hin, is maith mar a hiag Joe Kiernan go dé bhí le cailliú ag an iireann ag leatham.
Nuair a thuaidh siad isteach sa siomra festas, ceithre cúlainní ar gúil, bhí siad go léir an is le brí, mar ní rimar siad go rómhaith a chéad leath. Ach díreach sa neathí siad amach don darna leath, has Joe Kiernan an banisteoir suas, agus scartí sé os ard sa siomra festas. Lads, ceacu a barlibh, a bheith cosú lomsa, ed a cailseoir, ed a darna aich, ed a haniste, nó a bheith ed a bhuaiteoir, ed a choirí na hÉireann. Agus leis sin, win sé amach an trófií bug suúrach a win sé a bheith na haniste in 1977, agus bhuail sé le na ilil neart in éideann an bhalla. Hit sé ina smitheríní ar an orla. Deir cosúlachta, dibrí an clás sin, mar thuaidh ardmhaithe amach sa darna leath, le tinne ina gríthe, agus win séad an cluiche in éideann chéirí le cúlaí na bháin.
And McCann needs support. He's got it from Archie McCampbell. And the Jackson of pace. Back again from McGrain McCampbell. What a goal! What a goal by McCampbell! Aidan O'Rourke. Ball spin in the middle of McDowell. McDowell turns to the left foot. And Armagh take the lead. Armagh have it. Cian McGinney has got the goal! Armagh are the All-Ireland champions in the year 2002.
Ní a bhain gur bua de ardmhaithe a bhí an den chéadúir riú, ach lena chos, thug sé isteach ré orga eile don fel I gcuaige ola. Is dóithe gur a bhí an bbliain 2003 an buach faoinse a stair ilgréithach na glíthaí in Ultamh. Den chéadúir riú, thuaigh éireann ón chuaige céarna in airce chéile ag glíthe ceannas na hÉireann, ardmhaithe agus tíróin. Ba omathóil leidir don chríomh a rís fearann ardmhaithe. Ach, bhí banisteoir nua ag tíróin, Mickey Hart, fearr a raibh gradam ile éireann ag leibhil maniúr agus bhí fiche a héan aige hana héan. Ina hananta, bhí léir mór imróí leis ó na feirne sin, agus bhí sé inné beocht uair a chur isteach I bhfoireann sinsear heroin.
It's one of those kind of reading back the years moments that, you know, 2003 speaks to that kind of revitalised post-conflict Northern Ireland. Tyrone and Armagh supporters proudly wearing their jerseys, jumping onto trains, getting into cars with their flags, showing who they are. It's about that new vibrancy of kind of an Irish identity in a post-conflict Northern Ireland, which is totally channeled through the glory and the joy that is the GAA.
Armagh, they're the trailblazers, if you like, in Ulster at that stage, that they set the standard that we had to aspire to. Tyrone felt they were in a position to try and challenge for the top trophy as well, coming through with a lot of underage players who'd been very successful at minor and under-21 level. That probably was added pressure.
Boys, dig deep for the first 10 minutes. Give it what you have. The rest will come out. It is in your fucking legs. You will not get tired. Do you hear me? Yeah! Boys, I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes, go for it like your fucking life is dependent on it.
The intensity was unbelievable, you know, for players, supporters, you know, everybody was nervous going into that. But we were loving it because that's where you wanted to be on the biggest day of the year. No team had won them back-to-back for a few years, so we wanted to be the team to do that.
Was it a good final? too defensive maybe, too physical, too wary of each other. The neighbours fighting for the ultimate crown, you know, not a goal was scored.
Dachri an sail pella, go jaw. Mar den chéadú riú honna has dúsa gur hawachtaí gan an Cluiche a chailú, na an Cluiche a bhaint. Tá muid có císrach ocrach seo le críomh na hair na bhaint. Go rathí trúiristeach ní bhí sé fáil an léthir de scéalú ar charbí. Agus sílam gur as sin a hanig mion a tá nis mharal héan ráúilteach.
Armagh and Tyrone were the two best teams in Ireland for those few years. They played the best brand of football with intensity, and they brought something to the table that nobody else had seen for a long time. Things happened on the day. We lost a man. Conor Gormley made a magnificent save in the last few minutes to do Stevie McDonald out of a goal, but not to be. And fair play to Tyrone, they went on and won a couple more.
Ag leanúin se raibh ó bhuain na bliana javéile sa trí, agus frí mar a bhí deanta aige leis na foirne muinneoir agus bheith fiche sa héan. Is álaí a chuaigh Mickey Hart I món dúchraithe chursís a dagad éireacht a bharthad. Is sé an dúchraith sin as a docu club híróin agus ar nóia ar a dóghbhí an lear ionad Cumann Lúthchleas Gael sa chumdé.
Mickey, we're hearing Garvahi, an unbelievable statement from Tyrone about where you see the future of the GA in this county. It's such an incredible place.
This will sustain long beyond titles and records of a football in nature, you know. It's about creating better facilities for our young people of the future. It's not about winning trophies and titles. That's a bonus. That's an added value. But the real value is facilities like this, having this opportunity for young people to come along and express themselves in a very positive way. That's a priceless event. I think the games have developed in levels that the people who founded our games could never have anticipated. Every club now has a training field as well as their playing pitch. They've virtually all got floodlit facility of some kind. They have wonderful changing rooms, dressing rooms we called them years ago, that were just a practical facility. Now they can actually have social gatherings in them, and you know, it's moved to a new level. You could never have anticipated that.
And during that time, it hasn't all been fairy stories, plenty of setbacks, plenty of disappointing defeats, and also a fair bit of tragedy as well within this Tyrone setup and yourself personally, Mickey.
Well, for sure. I suppose the first real taste that we got of what you're speaking about was Paul McGear in 1987 when he lost his life playing for us against Armagh in a minor championship match. Between that and the unfortunate death of Cormac McAnallen, who was a serious blow to all of the GAA people throughout the province and the whole of the country. But, you know, it brought a spirit and a connection that you wouldn't get anywhere else, because people felt the pain of this together. They felt for the families, and I think it just made those group of young players particularly stronger and maybe better able to face what life may bring.
Bhí an grúpa sin imróí fí bhliain neamhmhíle sa cúig an dlú le chéile. Fireann a bhí an a bhí glaci acu le Jarlath Hart, go bhéad bhí éireacht a agail ina ngia. Rinn an díochas sin a bhí orthú chomáil leis an dlú charges a das as tragóid a dolang siad ilig le chéile, réalta ile éireann den ireann a ríis sa bhliain neamhmhíle is a cúig. Agus ar an dóí sin, is siad a bhí ag tuairt le fist an saoil go raibh siad bhí cumín acu siúd a tháinig rompu ar ó an aislín chéarna acu agus a thug cuidú dóibh bar a gomas a bhain semach.
This man should be here instead of me receiving this cup today. His name is Cormac McAnallen.
Cibhnítear ar chumas Cormac McAnallen mar felladór agus mar réalagóir I dólamh I gampa Cormac. Campa saoirí Gaeilge agus sports a bhíonn ar siúil, ní amháin a ddíróin ach ar fud an chuige.
Thosaigh sé dhearbhíle sa chathair in ómas de Cormac agus na haideal a bhí aige sé sin an cultúr, an teanga agus na sport. Tá sé jazz na daoine óga a aiceil gach blianan ag toiseacht amach agus iad cura nó 5 bliana d'aois. Teaglaad iad aiceil ar an farc strahailt ach taigeann na scialna de réir céile, scialna CLG agus teanga. Bliana bliana is féidir leat an fios a aiceil agus iad brádal as na rudaí nua a dólam siad. Buineann siad ansoltas na himróirí ag teacht agus bíonn siad ag géirí na síntí a ail ar na gansaithe nó fiú na bútaisí agus na matugaí. Is cinse agus spreagan na himróirí seo na páistí agus ag an deich bliana lei siad san ag immert le tíróin agus be daoine ina hí ag campa ag arc orthaí.
And he looks back for Hughes, it's open up for Hughes, could be an early goal for Tyrone.
The Tyrone ag buachan críomhne héireann don tríthúair sa bhliain 2008 agus dúnagáil don darna thuair sa bhliain 2012. Fágu go raibh ní gin den 6 chríomh is fiche is déanaí buinse ag feirne oltacha.
In anion na mblianta fada den neu gríomhaíocht ar an staitse náisiantas na 7 agus na 8. Sa chéad 10 mbliana den bhílís uair, thug na holtaigh leon í smó gradam para na 1 chuige eile ar bí in Éireann. Sa chéad agus a 6 blian de chuman luachlas scéal, ní réirí le feirní pela as chuige ola críomh pela na haireann a bhuachans ach 8 nuaire ar fad. Níor ghlac sé ach 8 mbliana déag bhreise le 8 gin eile a bhuachans.
Agus fiú amháin tíomhastí de chríomh comórtas na globanna, bhí feirne oltacha ag seaasú an óid, le réinethe crosfig linain ar an club is mó ra sa chuige. Firann ar éirí leo 6 chríomh club na haireann a bhains go dtí seo. Sa lá atá in Níos, ní bhí tú ach cibhlint dheir ó airní club oltacha. Le firann amháin ach go hairithe ag gimmert ar an leibhéal is airde. Ní amháin ag gód amháin ach I drí cin acu.
This year, Slaughtneil have won the Camogie Ulster, the hurling Ulster, and we're in the position today where we can do the triple by winning the Ulster Club the football championship final against Cluiche. There'll be nobody left in Slaughtneil. It's a very well-supported club for a small country area, I suppose, much the same as Cluiche is. There'll be nobody left in either of the 2 places today. Thomas Cassidy, a full cousin of my own, was a very big loss to the club this year. You know, Thomas was a great club man. I'm sure it'll be on everybody's mind to go out and try and do their very best to set the record of 3 in a row today in Thomas's memory. Once the game starts, the players know what they have to do. We'll not be shouting out instructions. Everybody knows their job, and the players are best left alone to do it. We're expecting a tough game. They're in the position, I suppose, where we were 2 years ago. They're here to win an Ulster final, and you know, there'll be no quarter given by either side.
Ó bunaí UA sa bhliain 8-8 is an star an chuman luachlas scéal in Ultaimh agus turas chuna náid fuile agus a mala híon a aimsiú is sochaí na 6 chumdaí. Is álaí a thug na buanna sin ag leibhéal club agus chumdaí a rian, ardú céime don chuige tíomhastí de phobal na glíchi in Éireann. Ach, darla go leor daoine, is fada go jocha leo a náid híon a aimsiú ábhfuil Park an Croci ina bhéadmhí an fuinneamh agus beoch na glíchi in Ultaimh a léirú don síl. Is álaí atá Park the Gasmain, mar a míú clíchi ceannis ola an nimmert suas go dtí 1971 trégi. Dá réir is siombal é don constaach dhearanach atá le sarú agus le réiteach ag muintear chuman luachlas scéal ó thuí. Ní den chéad uair atá scéal na glíthe Gaelacha in Ultabh agus an aisling don aid seo mar a bheadh microcosma de rud éigean níos mó. Rud éigean faoi ád láimhe i gcónaí.
Leanhí cumann luachlas scéal Chuige Ulla, agus bunan na háite thart ar an pharc seo ag plé le heachta réiteach, agus ghlacadh sé sin tuilliú ama is dóithe. Ach am bhharúil héin, nuair thuchas an dá híomh ar an réiteach sin, is sa spás seo, sa staid seo, agus sa chathair seo a thug for téachí cumann luachlas scéal i Chuige Ulla. In óin atá ag athrú te hir, léiríonn an stair dúin go bhfuil an cumas ag cumann luachlas scéal i héan a chur an iruins don síl de réir mar a athraíonn sé. Le breis agus céad bliain anuas, dírí le cumann luachlas scéal hacht sláán mar thorú an spirid agus díon obair iad siúd a cruúthaí agus a chothaí.
The GAA for me means history, tradition, culture, community, and your friends. The boys that I sat in the minibus with back whenever I was an under 12, and a lot of them today are still involved, living in Lurgan, they're still here. Friendship is what it is for me.
Fel sé Jackar an saoil a háú gan a cumann luachlas scéal. Ní bhfuil am a fé fiú ag smuoine ar go bhéh rud a bheith hin bunte leis. Gan an cumann.
I've met a lot of lovely people. I've met a lot of friends. There's been a lot of battles along the way and a lot of, tough games, but there's no other sport gives that warrior again warrior, but brings them together. And that's what gives the GAA that unique battle feeling.
I think it goes beyond sport. It's about a community, it's about identity. I think it has enriched my life as it has enriched, I think, the lives of tens of thousands of people.
فوتبال گیلیک باعث شدش که من مردم ایرلند رو بهتر بشناسم و با فرهنگ و تاریخچه این سرزمین آشناتر بشم.
I think when your family's in it and you're in it and your neighbours are in it and you can't get away from it. It's just a drug, I think. Drug to everybody that gets involved in it.
No,